Immortal character number 1 in Hoan Chau Cach Cach. The most frustrating person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach. Hoan Chau Cach Cach, TV series. Content of the movie New Hoan Chau Cach Cach. Ha Tu Vy is the young lady of the Ha family, Jinan province, not only beautiful, gentle but also proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. 18 years ago, her mother Ha Vu Ha had a deep relationship with Emperor Qianlong. Due to the complicated political situation and times, Qianlong had to leave his confidant without knowing. His lover had taken his flesh and blood. Also at that time, the mother of Tu Yen Tu and Tu Kim had to restrain herself so that each of her 2 children could drift to a different place to escape the family's disasters because their father was suspected of treason. Years passed and still had not seen Qianlong return. Before passing away, Ha Vu Ha told the story of her true identity to her daughter. Tu Vy was determined to go to the capital to find her father. Meeting Tu Yen Tu and confiding in her private life, Tu Vy indirectly brought the opportunity for the little swallow to fly into the palace, to meet Ngu Aca, Vin Ky. Tu Yen Tu rushed into the hunting ground, was hit by the fateful arrow and was taken into the palace to be cared for. The queen was extremely surprised by this special privilege and suspected the true origin of the mischievous illegible child. Meanwhile, Tu Yen Tu received the love and devoted care of Emperor Qianlong and reluctantly became the human princess Hoan Chau Cach Cach. Tu Yen Tu, the dangerous impostor of Hoan Chau Cach Cach? If we had to choose one of the most classic TV series associated with the childhood of many generations of 8X, 9X, then Hoan Chau Cach Cach would definitely be at the top of the list. Quinn Dao's film not only brought the names of Tri U Vy, Lam Tam Nu, to Hugh Bang, Chow Kiet, to the ranks of A-list stars, but also became a cultural phenomenon throughout Asia during the late 1990s. However, when looking back with the eyes of adults, the audience easily laughs because there are too many details, absurd to the point of absurdity. Among them, the most notable is the existence of immortal characters, people who seem to have just made a small mistake enough to be deprived of their lives, but somehow still live well, live happily, and are even forgiven time and time again. Without a doubt, the most immortal character in Hoan Chau Cach Cach is Tu Yen Tu, played by Tri U Vy. She was just a poor, wandering girl. However, thanks to a great coincidence, Tu Yen Tu accidentally became the princess of Hoan Chau, the lost daughter of the emperor. From that moment on, Tu Yen Tu's life seemed to have turned a new page. She entered the Forbidden City, living on par with the princesses, concubines, and princes. The first absurdity was that, based on just a picture and a few words, Qianlong immediately believed that Tu Yen Tu was his daughter, without verification or blood test. According to ancient standards, an ordinary person who dared to impersonate the royal family was enough to be punished with death. But Tu Yen Tu was different. Not only did she not die, but she was also loved and pampered by the emperor. Not stopping there, Tu Yen Tu also continuously violated taboos in the palace, being rude to the queen mother, arguing with high-ranking officials, escaping the palace many times, even dragging the 5th prince out to live a free life. If someone else had done it, the crime of treason would have been unavoidable. However, Tu Yen Tu always escaped, and in the end, she had a perfect love with the 5th prince. That's why the audience calls her immortal character. There is no miracle other than the script always being on her side. Immortal character number 1 in Hoan Chau Cach Cach, Photo 2. Ngu Aca, the darling of fate. If Tu Yen Tu is the immortal female lead, then Ngu Aca Vin Ky is the darling male lead of the entire Hoan Chau universe. As the prince of Qianlong, Vin Ky should have obeyed the discipline, the law of the country, and accepted the arrangements of his father. However, because he loved Tu Yen Tu, he constantly went against the will, even at times going against the emperor himself. In feudal society, this was no different from committing the crime of being unfilial and disloyal, which was a taboo. But instead of being severely punished, Ngu Aca was only scolded briefly, and in the end still had a happy ending. Obviously, Vin Ky existed as an exception, a second immortal, just because he was the male lead who could not die. Kim Toa and Tu Cat Tuong, the maids who are also immortal in many historical dramas, maids are just of low status, living off their masters, and even the slightest mistake can result in punishment. However, Kim Toa, Tu Vy's maid, or Tu Cat Tuong, Yen Tu's servant, exist as immortal shadows. Kim Toa has repeatedly disobeyed the emperor, opposing the marriage arranged for his young lady. With their low status, just one wrong word is enough to be punished. But no, Kim Toa is still alive and well, and is even praised for being loyal. Tu Cat Tuong is the same, causing trouble time and time again, but never suffers serious consequences. The audience can only shake their heads. Quinn Deo is truly kind. Immortal character number 1 incomplete. See How Catch Catch, Photo 4. Absurd but reasonable in the audience's heart. Looking at it rationally, the immortal characters in Hoan Chau Cach Cach are clearly unrealistic. The strict feudal society, with strict discipline, does not allow rude, rebellious actions or fake royal status. But because of that absurdity, the film becomes especially attractive. The audience at that time, mostly teenagers and young adults, did not care about feudal laws. They just needed a sweet, romantic story, with friendship, love, rebellion and freedom, things that are hard to find in real life. Tu Yen Tu is the model of a girl who dares to live, dares to love, dares to be free that many young people dream of. The fact that she is immortal, the fact that she escapes death time and time again is not as important as the joy and emotions she brings. Maybe now, as adults, the audience looks back and smiles bitterly. Hoan Chau Cach Cach has too many absurd details, too many immortal characters. But it is these things that create its timeless appeal. Thanks to the immortality of Tu Yen Tu and her friends, the film does not slide into heavy tragedy, but maintains a cheerful, witty spirit, with a fairy tale color. Every time 8x, 9x audiences listen to the soundtrack, or see images of Yen Tu dancing, Vin Ky smiling, Tu Vy crying, they still feel as if they are reliving their childhood. They remember the summer afternoons sitting in front of the TV screen, glued to every detail, anxiously waiting to watch again tomorrow. In other words, it is because of the immortal characters that Hoan Chau Cach Cach has truly become a legend. Absurd on screen, but reasonable in the hearts of viewers. And thanks to that, the film transcends the boundaries of time, becoming a sweet childhood memory, an irreplaceable part of youth. The most frustrating person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach Tu Yen Tu, the dangerous imposter of Hoan Chau Cach Cach? The most dangerous and evil person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach is not Dung Ma Ma. If I had to choose a TV series that is associated with the childhood of many Vietnamese audiences, Hoan Chau Cach Cach would definitely be on the first list. Released in the late 1990s, the film became an Asian phenomenon, being shown on the small screen dozens of times and still no less attractive. People often remember Hoan Chau Cach Cach because of its sweet love stories, touching and humorous details, or dramatic conflicts in the Forbidden Palace. But besides that, one factor that makes the film memorable is the portrayal of many different types of intelligence. When it comes to the question who is the smartest person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach, it is probably impossible to give an absolute answer. Because the smartness in the film is not only the strategy to fight for power, but also the ingenuity in behavior, the agility in dangerous situations, or even the gentleness that makes others soften. The film is like a stage for the characters to take turns showing their intelligence in very different ways. And from there, the audience has the opportunity to reflect on real life, to realize, in any environment, you can encounter such types of people. The smartest person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach, the Queen, intelligent in a powerful way among the characters. The Queen is the one who most clearly shows the strategy of someone living in the vortex of the royal court. She is not only the first wife of the emperor but also the one who holds authority in the harem. In that position, the Queen understood that her intelligence did not lie in direct confrontation, but in the ability to arrange, calculate, and control the situation. In the film, the queen repeatedly tried to take down Tuyen Tu and Ha Tu Vy. Although her plans were not always successful, it could be seen that she always knew how to choose the right moment, use the people around her as chess pieces, and rarely put herself at a disadvantage. Even when she failed, the queen still maintained a dignified image, making it difficult for the emperor to punish her severely. This is the type of intelligent person who puts power first and uses intelligence to maintain her position. Lun Fai, intelligent in the way of self-preservation. If the queen represents a calculating strategy, Lun Fai chooses the opposite path, being wise by self-preservation. Lun Fai originally came from an ordinary background, and thanks to her gentle personality, she was favored by the emperor. Instead of competing, she cleverly chose to stay out of the struggles. In many situations, Consort Ling did not take action but kept herself and her children safe. She knew when to be silent and when to be gentle to resolve conflicts. For example, when the queen tried to make things difficult, Consort Ling often chose to be humble, accepting a small loss but in the long run, maintaining peace. Consort Ling's intelligence lay in understanding her limits. She did not try to rise at all costs, but chose perseverance, using 1 patience, 9 kindnesses as a shield. This is the type of wisdom that many people in real life also apply. Not necessarily it is not necessary to stand out, just keep yourself and your family safe. Ngu Aca, smart like a gentleman among the male characters, Ngu Aca, Vin Ky, is probably the one who is most fully developed in both intelligence and emotion. He is not only the son of the emperor, but also a young man with knowledge, understanding, and courage. Many details in the film show that Vin Ky is the one who often stands up to solve problems for Tuyen Tu and Tu Vy. He knows how to balance between being a filial son to his father, while protecting love and friends. His intelligence does not lie in cunning, but in the ability to see far and maintain an upright spirit. Ngu Aca is the image of a gentleman, dare to love, dare to fight, but not blind. He can sacrifice personal interests for love, and is also brave enough to make difficult decisions. In the eyes of the audience, Vin Ky's wisdom is a combination of knowledge, courage, and morality. In complete contrast to the calmness of the fifth prince, Tuyen Tu is an impulsive, noisy character but extremely quick-witted. She comes from a peasant background, is illiterate, and does not understand the rules of the royal court, but possesses cunning and quick-wittedness in many dangerous situations. For example, when suspected, Tuyen Tu can make up lies from heaven to earth to escape. When in a difficult situation, she is still clever enough to think of ways to make people laugh or avoid situations. Although she has many times caused her friends to have heart attacks because of her recklessness, it is her quick-wittedness that helps the group escape seemingly dead-end situations. Tuyen Tu's wisdom is of the street type, unstructured, unbookish, but full of reality. This is also the reason why the audience loves this character, because in everyday life, people often need cleverness more than academic knowledge. Ha Tu Vy, smart in a subtle way. If Tuyen Tu is fire, then Ha Tu Vy is water. She is gentle, soft, and delicate in every word and gesture. Not noisy, not chaotic, but Tu Vy has her own strength, conquering people's hearts with sincerity and emotion. In the movie, Tu Vy has many times moved the emperor to tears thanks to simple stories about family love. She also knows how to ease tensions between friends, keeping the peace when people argue. Tu Vy's intelligence is emotional, knowing when to listen, when to speak up to touch the hearts of others. This intelligence is not inferior, because in a scheming environment like the royal palace, a gentle word can also turn the situation around. In real life, it's the same. When the movie ends, many people will probably still wonder, so who is the smartest person in Hoan Chau Cach Cach? But the answer is not as important as realizing that each character represents a distinct type of intelligence, and all are necessary. In real life, we can easily encounter similar images. Some people are like the queen, good at calculating, knowing how to control the situation to gain power. Some people are like concubine Ling, choosing to step back and be humble to maintain safety and peace. Some people are like Nguaca, living uprightly, daring to take responsibility, becoming a reliable support. Some people are like Tu Yen Tu, clever, quick to adapt, bringing joy but also being a warrior in difficult times. And there are also people like Tu Vy, delicate, knowing how to use gentleness to bind people together. Each type of intelligence has its own value, no more, no less. It is that diversity that creates a colorful collective, a family, or a society. Perhaps, this is also one of the reasons why Hoan Chau Cach Cach has been loved by audiences for over 2 decades, because in each character, everyone finds the shadow of a familiar person, or even themselves.